Good evening. bnptv from Manchester Town Hall. Now we're going to interview Nick Griffin. Hi Nick.
Hi Mike.
So what do you think about tonight?
Well, we knew it was going to happen from the Wythenshawe by-election when, as you know, we put in a fantastic campaign out on the streets a few months ago. I got a response like we've never had in Manchester before. Absolutely brilliant from the public. But they were saying, basically, a lot of them, sorry, we're going to vote UKIP because it's the best way to kick the other parties over immigration. And that's what they've done all over Britain today. So UKIP has stolen the vote, not actually stolen it, they've been given it by the BBC, by the mass media, but it's under false pretences because people think they voted for an anti-immigration party and they haven't. So the big picture is that tonight, for the first time ever, when you take together the UKIP vote, the BNP vote, and even a section of the Tory vote and the Labour vote, they've been saying, we're going to get tough on immigration. Now, for people to believe it's a bit daft, but I'd say that a majority of the indigenous votes in Britain back on Thursday were cast by people thinking that's the best way to stop immigration. It doesn't matter who they voted for, that's what people want. It's not going to happen, so the gap is going to be there for us in the future.
So how are people going to feel when they finally realise that UKIP is not going to stop immigration?
People are going to be very, very angry, very betrayed, and they all know who we are, where we are. So what we've got to do over the next few months, we'll have a couple of weeks off, 2 weeks off I think, but then we've got to really work on the grassroots work because we've got to have the electoral credibility to remind people that we can win. And of course we can. We've got Dawn Charlton here, who in the Maryfort campaign, we got the vote up from, is it 13-14% to 42% with the campaign. Now we won the seat. Dawn actually should be a county councillor. She lost by 90 votes, but the Labour Council stole more than 200 votes from our people. Now, if they hadn't done that, and we'd gone into this election clearly near winners, with the first county council seat in the North West just a few months ago, then all the dynamics of this contest would have been different, and we'd probably have won. Because the people haven't rejected us, they voted for what they think is a better way of making their point about immigration. Coming on, I've got Brian Parker here.
Another victory this week.
The first British National Party victory for 3 years. Now, it's partly because Brian is a really great councillor, and everybody knows it, and it's a big personal vote, but it's also because, just as we found in Wythenshawe, people love the BNP. Not everybody, some people hate us, but there's a big chunk of the British electorate love this party, and the only reason that they've gone somewhere else is they've literally held their noses as they voted UKIP, because they know that basically they're Tory, Thatcherite. I think they suspect what they do with the health service, but they think, you know what, they're not going to be in power, so they can't privatise the health service. It doesn't matter. Voting UKIP is the best way to make an anti-immigration protest. We've showed with Brian that it doesn't have to be like that, that where we've got a good local candidate and we put the campaign in, that we can win even under these circumstances. Think how much easier it's going to be when the UKIP bubble has splattered the Lib Dems, because we beat them in a lot of places in the Northwest tonight. I don't know about elsewhere in the country, but they got more votes than us overall, but we beat them in swathes of the Northwest. Absolutely catastrophic for them. So they're the first casualty. And in the next general election, well, either the Tories do a deal or they go down to defeat. Cameron will be the second casualty. Or if the Labour Party lose, Miliband's gone. So Farage would have done something quite remarkable. He'll have got rid of 2 of the 3 leaders of British politics.
Well, that can't be bad, can it?
Which really can't be bad at all. But then it'll be his turn, because the odds are now, I think, that even if not before the election, after the next general election, it's more likely than not that UKIP will be in coalition. And then it'll just be a matter of months, if not weeks, before their vote crumbles and people want to vote for a real anti-immigration party, and also a party which, as well as being anti-immigration, which the public want, also has a social conscience, also basically is like the Labour Party used to be, and that's us. Because the Labour Party is in favour of privatisation, the Tories want privatisation, the Lib Dems are gone, the UKIP want to privatise everything, and we're the ones saying, you know what, it was fraud what they've done, it was theft what they've done to the people of this country, the railways, the utilities, we will take those back into public ownership without compensation. And the public out there, they want that social attitude, and they also want a genuine anti-immigration nationalist position. They're not going to get anywhere else apart from us, and we'll be here ready when they realise it.
Excellent. And there's loads of positives, Nick, isn't there, as you've outlined. And I guess lastly but not least, we're not a party of the banksters, as Mr. Farage is, because he's still a merchant banker now.
He certainly is a merchant banker, yes. One other positive our people have been pointing out, they're saying, Nick, it's going to be great to have you back in Britain. So yes, I'm going to take a pay cut, but it's been a great 5 years, actually. In all sorts of ways. I've learnt so much, the party's learnt a lot. It's been a privilege to serve the people of the Northwest. I've made, I think, some difference to a significant number of people's lives here as a constituency MEP. The biggest difference of all, of course, was my role in keeping us out of Cameron's crazed war in Syria. That's my historic legacy out of my first 5 years in the European Parliament. I've got 5 years out, then I'm going back, and I won't be the only one.
Well, before we end, Nick, we need to expand on that just a bit more. The Syria thing. I mean, just how big that was. People don't realise. If anyone else had done what you did and risked your own life to save hundreds of thousands of people, you would have been given the Nobel Peace Prize. But you haven't even been mentioned.
No, I had a few things thrown at me on the way in tonight by the usual suspects. Cameron's plausibly deniable thug militia. But no, the thing actually about Syria, in a way it's bigger than that. It's if you look at what people who know nothing about us or my role are saying about it, you people all around the world, it was actually a great turning point. Because up until then, the neocons, the New World Order boys, had it all their own way. And that's the moment at which things changed. And my role was very small. It was getting that vote. So it then swung or confused the vote in the United States and gave Putin the chance to step in and actually stop it. That's the big picture. It's that Russia's finally standing up, for common sense, decency, and against the New World Order. They didn't in Libya. They let it go. But they did in Syria. It's the turning point. So unless the banksters and the criminals manage to spark World War III like they're trying, unless they manage to do that fairly soon, their system is going to implode, and all around the world will see an end to the banksters' power and rule, and a total realignment of politics and everything for the good. So we're in a very dangerous time. They could drag us into a world war, or their power will vanish. We can't tell yet, but if it's the latter, it's partly due to us, and if it's the former, well, we did warn people.
Brilliant. Well, there's loads of positives, as we said, and we look forward to working more closely with you over the next 5 years.
Thank you, Mike.